yesterday.
How's your football team doing this year?
Oh, I don't even want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it,
Lost our game last night. Sore subject.
Who'd you play?
ASU.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a tough loss.
Yes, it is. Caitlin DeRocher, USC's The Scoop. All right, so this story is all centered around the love and connection between your two characters. How did you guys get comfortable enough with each other to film something like this?
Well, we had a couple of weeks beforehand to like hang out, and we had some rehearsal time, which is always a nice luxury on a movie like this to actually get the scenes up and running. And then we were just in New Orleans, and it was us and Michael and Luke and Liana, and we didn't hang out with the young versions that much, but
we're all pretty easygoing.
Yeah.
Really. We had fun. It was easy. It was nice to be able to work on material. I think that as actors, you get to really get to nurture what the material is. James has said there's no sort of like special effects or bells and whistles.
Right,
it's really just kind of finding the emotional truth. And I think they're so rare, for actors to do it. So when you sign up to do something like that, you really kind of go into it with, your best feet, forward. What
difficulties did you guys face when it came to playing the older versions of younger characters?
Matching Luke Bracey's physique. That was the hardest thing.
Makes sense.
But I don't think you had any trouble. Stop working out.
Eat some more donuts or something.
Yeah, come on.
Exactly. A few more beers. You're in New Orleans after all.
Right? You have some beignets,
yeah.
Luke. Have some beignets already.
We did have the opportunity to talk to them and sort of develop some idea of what mannerisms we might use and kind of carry over. But they did such a great job of playing us, of playing this sort of younger sort of version that was really just completely seduced by the idea of love, and it really gave us a place to go.
Right.
In terms of almost having it be kind of a 180, because life kind of happens, and it changes your idea of what love is.
Right.
And so we had some freedom to kind of get to that place.
I like to tell Luke that I would do certain mannerisms that I didn't do. Like I said, now look, when I drink, when I drink, my pinky always goes up.
So proper of you.
So just let him think that I was doing that in the scenes.
Did you guys face any difficulties when it came to portraying characters who face such immense hardships and loss?
I think those are the most interesting elements to roles like these. I mean, as an actor, I don't know, the more complicated and emotionally
complex.
Yeah, that the more interesting the roles are, and to be able to go down those roads with Michelle was a journey and an interesting one, and so it's nice to, like we said before, this type of movie, it's like it is about the dynamic between two people. It is about emotions and the dynamics of the two, and I think the more life you've lived, I think I would say this about the two of them in their 40s, like the more life you live, the more complicated it gets, and the more interesting somehow, and the more depthful it gets,
So you had to choose characters to play Amanda and Dawson. What was that like, and what were the challenges you faced with that?
Oh, lots. You have to find actors who are really willing to stretch themselves emotionally, right? And they have to have a good kismet with the director once you have the director, because the director's really involved in those choices.
Right.
And then there's other business things. Are they available? This, that, and the other thing. And then you have to get them all, and then you hope for chemistry, right?
Yeah, these movies live and die on chemistry. So you can have, two great actors, but they just kind of don't go together. They don't have a sizzle together. So you kind of have to go on intuition, and you don't really know until you see them on film, not in person. That's when the magic happens, So I think we really kind of nailed it in this movie.
Do you think either of you are similar to your characters, like in real life?
I would like to say I am. I really, and I as I was getting to know Amanda just by playing her, I was, going home thinking, God, I can only hope that I can be like her in my life, just because of how passionate and driven and loving she is. She's just so committed to everything she puts her mind to, and that's a very admirable quality.
I think there's always something of you in a character you play, otherwise it couldn't be real in a certain degree. You want to take parts of your life and mold them into these characters, but yeah, I always found myself saying how much of a good bloke Dawson was, and he's just such a good guy, and I'd like to think I'm an alright dude, but he's a really good guy, and that's what I took away from him. I just really wanted to have, you know, his purity, which I think is a great quality he has. He's very pure and very kind of honest in a certain way. I think he's a great dude.
Did you work closely with James and Michelle to like kind of match you guys' characters with one another?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to in this situation, you know? You want the audience to, you know, regardless of, you know, physical differences, you really have to make sure that, you know, our mannerisms and our personalities, they link together in some way, else the audience won't really believe it. And I met with Michelle before filming, and we talked about certain mannerisms and tics we wanted to have, and obviously those evolved throughout filming, so we definitely kept a very open conversation throughout filming.
Yeah, very similar for James and I. You sit down kind of before you go, and I think Liana and I had the privilege, we were kind of lucky enough that we shot a lot of our stuff before James and Michelle shot their stuff, so we kind of laid the foundation, and I think they went from it. They got to see some of the stuff we'd done, but definitely it was a collaboration between all four of us. You know, the idea that, you know, certain tics and certain things that you carry through life that you're not so conscious about, but really kind of color these characters and connect them from these times.